Good morning to you all fervent viewers of The Brief. Thanks for joining us on the last edition of the week, and you all know the rules of the program here. We analyze top headlines in the newspapers, and the papers today are focusing on the 20 Cameroonian women leaders who decided to come up together to write to the International Monetary Fund and to the UN Council to demand that more or some measures be taken to ensure that the crisis in the northwest and the southwest regions are ended, and that the COVID-19, and they equally discussed on the COVID-19 funds, and they said that the funds, no funds should be disbursed until the accounts or until the mismanagement of the funds are being accounted for. And you know, as I told you, the program is a bilingual one and a very interactive one. I have in the studio here with me Mr. Prince, who is from the Popular Action Party. He came all the way from Yaoundé to attend the program this morning. Good morning to you, sir.
Good morning, Madam Clay. Good morning to the colleague, and good morning to the millions of televiewers of this program.
Okay, thanks for joining us. And as I told you, the program is a bilingual one. We have Quentin Etape always around, and he's going to be telling us what the papers are saying in the French language. Bonjour à toi, Quentin.
Bonjour Audrey Zassa. Covid-Gate, recettes fiscales, diplomatie. Eh bien, les travaux publics routiers sont entre autres les thèmes qui font les unes des journaux présents en kiosque ce matin, vendredi 4 juin 2021. Mesdames et messieurs, bonjour et bienvenue à cette grande revue de presse bilingue sur MyMedia Prime TV, la télévision qui construit votre futur. Ouvrons très rapidement avec le tri hebdomadaire du centre, le journal Essingang, qui nous parle du tribunal et titre en sa grande une Covid-Guide, le directeur du cabinet du Premier ministre annoncé en guest star au tribunal de la Cour suprême. D'après nos confrères, l'audition de Balongeli, Confiance et Bounin, prévue la semaine prochaine, survient à la suite de celle de certains autres collaborateurs de Joseph John Gouteux. Il est l'auteur des correspondants demandant au ministre Santé d'attribuer le marché spécial de 3 millions de tests rapides à l'entreprise Medellin Medical Cameroun SA et suscitant le paiement de factures par le MENFI. Une information à retrouver en tout cas dans sa totalité dans la page 2 de ce tri hebdomadaire. Par ailleurs, parlant des travaux publics routiers dans le nord du Cameroun, route Moura-Koutséri, 220 autant pour moi, employés sans salaire depuis 12 mois. C'est le titre que nous propose l'œil du Sahel à sa grande une de ce jour. Dans la page 4, le journal de Guibaï Gatama vous livrerait les causes et le comment de ce fait. Et puis on poursuit avec le quotidien L'économique qui, arrivé à notre rédaction ce matin, nous parle de la recette fiscale et titre les pertes du Cameroun dans la filière bois entre 2018 et 2020. Pendant cette période, selon le journal, le pays a enregistré un manque à gagner conséquent à cause n'est-ce pas, des contournements de la législation fiscale par les acteurs illégaux du secteur. Et puis terminons avec le quotidien à capitaux gouvernemental Cameroun Tribune qui titre Coopération Cameroun-France, vision partagée. Selon le journal de Marie-Claire Nana, la relation bilatérale, la situation dans la sous-région et les conclusions du sommet de Paris sur le financement des économies africaines au menu de l'audience accordée hier au Palais de l'Unité à son Excellence Christophe Guillou, ambassadeur de France par le président de la République Paul Biya. Une information à retrouver dans les colonnes des pages 2 et 3 de ce journal présent en kiosque ce matin. Mesdames et messieurs, stop et fin pour la lecture des tabloïds en langue française. Place maintenant à la présentation de ces titres avec toi, Audrey Zassa, en anglais.
Merci, Quentin. Over to the English newspapers. We begin with the Guardian Post. The Guardian Post talks about the 20 women leaders who petitioned the UN Security Council to discuss Anglophone crisis. According to the paper, the women were requesting that the global body to put for the global body to put the Anglophone crisis top on its agenda as a way of ending the nearly 5-year-long armed conflict in the two English-speaking regions of the country. A copy of the open letter comes 4 days to a high-level UN Security Council meeting in which a report on Central Africa will be one of the highlights. Thus, the women are requesting the UN Security Council to take key measures in bringing the armed conflict in the Anglophone regions to an end. Amongst these women were Kabangé Ditwala of the Cameroon People Party, Barrister Alice Nkom, a lawyer and a human rights defender, and Henriette Ekwe, political and rights activist, Honorable Tomaino Ndamjoya, who is the mayor of Fumban. Still on the Guardian Post, they're talking about the Northwest Regional Assembly. Adoption of standing orders ends in deadlock. The paper writes that regional councillors of the Northwest Regional Assembly yesterday failed to adopt the standing orders of the institution. These standing orders, which had become the bone of contention since Tuesday, June 2nd, ended in a deadlock. The document, which is supposed to outline the duties and advantages of the regional councillors, failed to sail through. We continue still on the same paper. At least 3 persons said to have been part of the mob that took to the streets of Nkwen in Bamenda Mezam Division Northwest Region Monday to condemn the alleged exercises of Amber fighters have reportedly been kidnapped. That's what the Guardian Post had for us this morning. Emergence equally took keen interest on the Cameroonian women who spoke about the COVID-19 funds mismanagement, and they took the case to the IMF and the UN Council. I'm talking about Emergence, of course, and took the case to the IMF and the UN Council. We end with this other paper. The Post Weekender talks about arrest of Sisiku and Co's lawyer. Rights group demands immediate release. According to the paper, the Center for Human Rights and Democracy in Africa has demanded or has condemned the arbitrary arrest of Barrister Nicodemus. The center has called for his immediate release, stating that it is direct attack on human rights defenders. In a statement made public on June 2nd, the Shrada says the Yaoundé-based lawyer and member of the Cameroon Bar Association, who is also the defense lawyer of Sisiku, Julius Ayok, and several other Anglophones detained in connection with the Anglophone crisis, was arrested on May 31st and detained at the Gendarmerie headquarters in Yaoundé. That was it for the papers, ladies and gentlemen. Back to the studios with our discussion. And as I told you at the start of the program, we have a member from the Popular Action Party who shall be analyzing what the headlines are saying today. And I would like to ask you first, what is it that what caught your attention when we read through the papers?
Obviously, madam, what caught my attention is about the 180 billion francs CFA that has been embezzled by the regime barons. So for me, what the women did yesterday, I think they were correct. It is a bold step that they took to call on the IMF and maybe the UN Security Council. Maybe what people also failed to make mention is that they also called on the UN Security Council on the Anglophone crisis that has been plaguing the country for 5 years. I want to say that is, for me, that is what caught my attention, and I believe that it is the basis of our discussion this morning.
Okay, yeah, exactly. So talking about what they said, talking on the Anglophone crisis, we've been talking about this several times, like how to put an end to this crisis. It's been 4 years, 5 years. Today, nothing has been done.
Madam, I want to tell you that the regime in place have decided that they will not solve the Anglophone crisis. They have decided, because for 5 years now, people are still dying. You cannot tell me the reason why for 5 years this regime has refused to solve a crisis of a people that are just asking for their rights. Now, I want to say that many people can be saying that maybe it is a problem about the separatist fighters don't want to lay down their arms, but I want to say that it is the president of this country that declared war, and he's the one to call for a ceasefire. So we also realize that there are many of the regime barons that are making too much gains in this Anglophone crisis. So I want to make you to understand that it is really a political scam that they have maneuvered so that this crisis should continue to go, and the people should be wiped off in this country, which shall not work.
But who are those killing in those regions?
Madam, if you ask me that, who are those killing in the regions? You are a journalist, and I believe that you have the responsibility to inform the televiewers. You know very well that it's the military, and the military are killing, and the separatist fighters are also killing. But who are the people suffering? The common man, whom the government has a responsibility to protect. So if you ask me that, who are killing? Both sides are killing.
Eh bien, on va engranger le pas sur un autre thème parlant justement de la santé, puisqu'on parle du Covid-Gate. Si tu me permets, Odezassa. Voilà, donc on parle du Covid-Gate et on nous annonçait dans un journal que le directeur du cabinet du Premier ministre Joseph John Kouté est annoncé en guest star au tribunal de la Cour suprême de Yaoundé. Eh bien, quelle observation à faire?
Monsieur est tapé. Si vous me posez ces questions, je peux mourir de rire. Parce que vous-même, vous savez que tous ces gens-là, donc tous ces gens-là veulent que les Camerounais meurent. Ils n'ont pas, donc tous ces gens-là, ils n'ont pas comment dirais-je, ils n'ont pas les Camerounais au cœur. Ils n'ont pas les Camerounais au cœur. Ils sont là seulement pour manœuvrer l'argent. Et pour vous dire, les 180 milliards, c'est l'argent qu'ils ont pris qui va être remboursé même par nos petits-enfants. Donc, je vous dis qu'il faut que tous ces gens-là fassent attention avec les Camerounais. Mais je vous dis, c'est pour cela que quand je suis dans un plateau de télévision, je dis toujours aux jeunes qu'ils doivent s'impliquer à la politique parce qu'il est temps pour que le changement s'y vienne.
Mais ces 180 milliards de francs-là, attendez, le IMF n'est-ce pas, sait très bien que le Cameroun a encore à donner, à dire ce qu'ils ont fait de l'argent. Maintenant, on nous annonce qu'il y a autres fonds qu'ils sont en train de vouloir déverser au Cameroun. Selon vous, que se passe-t-il réellement? Parce que ils estiment qu'on doit d'abord faire une sorte de audit par rapport au fonds, au premier fonds. Maintenant, pourquoi vouloir verser encore d'autres fonds? Est-ce qu'ils ne veulent pas, par exemple, nous plonger dans plus de dettes?
Now, madam, to answer that question, I will tell you that what you people also have to know, or the televiewers also know, is that there is what we call international complicity. There are accomplices in all these places that you are calling the IMF. Now let's Cameroon. We are not fools. I'm talking as a politician. We are not fools. If you see people want to disburse money when we have seen that 180 billion francs here is not being accounted for, and then they want to disburse money, you see that it's an international complicity. Now I will come back a bit to make mention even of the United Nations Security Council. The Anglophone crisis has been there now for 5 good years. The UN is not saying anything to make you to understand that there is too much international complicity in this issue. Now that's why I'm saying that the women who came together, they are correct. Now I want to also make mention is that make mention here is that Cameroonians are playing their part. Can you imagine that Cameroonians, they decided to bring a lockdown in Cameroon? All the Cameroonians followed the government in this lockdown. But now for the government to play his part, they took money and they are prepared. They are taking that money to prepare. C'est que je veux parler en français, la prévia. Ils sont préparés la prévia. C'est ça qui, c'est de cela qui est question.
Est-ce qu'il ne fallait pas attendre l'audit final pour tirer des conclusions?
Listen, you cannot joke when I see even some politicians go on TV and they are saying that those that have been listed in the reports of the audit bench that they are presumed innocent. I look at them and I say that maybe they don't know what they are saying. Those that brought that report are magistrates of high caliber in this country. So you cannot be joking with reports that has been given by renowned magistrates. So you cannot tell me that a magistrate will take himself at risk to give such a report. Now maybe
non, mais ils sont juste cités dans l'affaire du mismanagement des fonds. Mais ça ne veut pas dire qu'ils sont déjà... On ne peut pas quand même les...
Madame, est-ce que vous connaissez que quand Alain comme on est en train de parler, hier the Supreme State Audit. In the Supreme State Audit, there is a file for the COVID-19 has been missing, which that file is coming from the Ministry of Scientific Research. The file is the file has been missing. To make you to understand that if a file can be missing in the State Supreme Audit, to make you to understand the gravity of that matter, they shall not work. It shall not work because Cameroonians are watching. Cameroonians need to be accounted for their money, which is being invested.
Justement, au Consup également, il y a des ordinateurs qui ont été volés avec tous les données concernant cette affaire du Covid-19.
Madame, c'est parce que moi je viens de Yaoundé, je connais là où se trouve le Consupé, je connais là où ça se trouve. Si vous me dites que même les ordinateurs ont été volés au Consupé, ça veut dire que it's a scam. I say it's a scam. There are police people, army people everywhere at the State Supreme Audit. It is well secured. It is well secured. Donc vous ne pouvez pas me dire qu'on a volé les ordinateurs, c'est faux. C'est faux.
Voilà, parlant aussi avec cette affaire des travaux publics routiers du côté du nord, on parle de la route Mora-Syrie, 220 employés qui ne sont pas rémunérés, qui sont sans salaire il y a depuis 12 mois. Eh bien, quelle lecture que vous pouvez faire de ce fait?
Mon frère, les Camerounais souffrent tous les jours. Il faut me poser les questions que les Camerounais veulent entendre. Je vous dis la vérité. Parce que tous ces gens-là, je vous ai dit, ils n'ont rien, they don't think again. Ils n'ont rien à proposer aux Camerounais. Vous ne pouvez pas, les gens ne peuvent pas être là. On vous est là pour prendre l'argent d'État, pour manger et pour faire les Camerounais. C'est comme ça que les Camerounais souffrent tous les jours. Les Camerounais se battent. Ils travaillent, vous ne les payez pas. Qu'est-ce que vous voulez qu'on parle aux Camerounais? Je dis, et je dis aux jeunes, c'est wake-up speech, que venez s'impliquer à la politique pour que nous tous ensemble.
Donc vous estimez que la politique fera
mais c'est pas la politique, c'est la politique. Si toi tu t'impliques, elle s'implique, tous les jeunes s'impliquent, on va changer ce pays. Je vous dis la vérité.
Comment alors?
Comment vous dites? On va, si les jeunes, comment vous dites que comment? Vous ne pouvez pas me demander que comment. You cannot do that question. If you people come in, the word that you want me to say, I will not say it. If you people come in, you will see how the change will come. Yes.
Toujours parlant de cette affaire de gestion des fonds Covid, revenons un petit peu sur le communiqué du ministre de la Communication sorti ou signé le 28 mai dernier, où il adressait les hommes de presse parlant du fait que tout le monde doit respecter, n'est-ce pas, la présomption d'innocence pour ces ministres cités.
Madame, the communique which was being signed by the Minister of Communication, you can see how the weaknesses of the government. Cameroonians are expecting to have a report. I want to make you to understand that the IMF that gave this money is waiting to have a report. The report was being put to the opening of the whole Cameroonian public and the world to consume. And then you, the minister, you begin to accuse people. To make you to understand that I said they cannot think again, madam. They cannot think. It's a whole sham. I want to say something here, madam, that it is a shame to this country. I'm telling you, it's a shame to this country. At times, I usually tell my friends who are out of this country, I said, I don't know why you people went out of this country, because you needed to be in this country, and they'll tell me that, Mr. Epil. It's a lie. I begin to share with them. Go to other countries and see how they are evolving. Go to Tanzania, go to Rwanda, go and see how they are evolving. But in Cameroon, every day, billions upon billions are missing, and Cameroonians are dying in penury. Now, let me tell you what they are not even saying. I am a teacher and a principal of a school. As a teacher and a principal of a school, there is 6.6 billion that was being allocated during this COVID-19 to teachers, madam. You could see how the private teachers of the private sector suffered during the COVID-19 period. Proprietors had no money, they could not pay these teachers. Some of them have even gone back to the village. So they have even gone back to the village. Where is that 6.6 billion? It is not accounted. I'm telling the Minister of Secondary Education to tell us where is that money. Because as a school principal, I have the right to know how that money went. But we don't know where the money is. So there are many things.
Now,
and that money, madam, I want to say that it was destined for teachers, for private school teachers. I'm talking about COVID-19 money that was in that 180 billion, of which the President of the Republic signed a decree. C'est pour cela que je demande souvent qu'au Cameroun qui gouverne. Parce que everybody is there. Just everybody that president puts a signature on him. The person comes there to just come and steal money. To just come and steal money, steal Cameroonian money, and make Cameroonians to continue living in poverty and in penury.
Prince, what if these ministers are finally found guilty? What can we say of our ministers, of our government? What can we say of people who are supposed to make sure that the country gets developed?
Madam, if you ask me that question, I will ask you if you have read that report. You cannot ask me such a question that you see that a material that needs to be bought for 1,000 francs is being they call it that surfacturation. For 1,000 francs, they put it for 20,000 francs. You think that when they say they embezzle money, is that they are taking that money and then put back in their pocket? There's a way that they embezzle money.
No, we cannot accuse them until a final report is released, you understand? So I'm asking, my question is, what if they are really found guilty? What can we say of...
Madam, there is no possibility. I don't believe in that thesis. There is no possibility that you can tell me that they are not found guilty.
No, I'm saying, what if they are found guilty? If they are found guilty, if it's actually confirmed that they actually...
They should recover that money. They should recover. That is why we always say that the Article 66 of the Constitution should be implemented. That if they want to appoint you on a position, you need to declare assets. But they should, all of them should go to Kondenge as usual. You believe that the whole of the Biafra government is in Kondenge. They should continue sending their kids.
Est-ce que ce n'est pas une preuve de sérénité, de sérieux, malgré que c'est...
See, my brother, let me tell you, you are a young man. Voilà. Let me tell you, you cannot be where you cannot. It is not correct that for somebody has been ruling for 39 years. For 39 years, it poses a problem, and that is why they have failed, because we need new brains to come in. That's why the Popular Action Party, we are proposing that they should relinquish power. If you understand what I mean by that, they should relinquish power. They should leave power for the younger generation. The president himself, in his end of year speech, talked of generational transition. Where is the generation when you be in power for 39 years, 39 years going to 40 years already? Where are the other generation? So we of this generation, now we cannot live it. We cannot live. And let me tell you, that generational transition will not be done by the clique that we know. It will be done by me and you and everybody on board. So that's why we are proposing the Popular Action Party that they should relinquish power for a peaceful transition. And moreover, why they do that, we will have an inclusive dialogue where we will bring all the Cameroonians on board. Bring all the Cameroonians on board, and we revise many things, like even the electoral system, so that the game should be equitable to everybody, so that everybody will have his own share of the cake. And they will implement a good federal system in this country. Because even their decentralization policy has failed. Their decentralization has failed. Cameroonians don't feel it. Okay. Madam, there's one thing that I wanted also to make mention. If 180 billion was being used properly for the COVID-19, madam, you would have felt it. This is Archbishop Samuel Kleda, who came up with people testifying how they are being healed by his medicine that he brought up for the COVID-19. But this government did not give him a time. They are wicked people. 1 franc they did not give him, and the money they took and put in their personal belly for their personal aggrandizement. We cannot continue like that.
Monsieur, mais une réunion pour, n'est-ce pas, aider ces médecins traditionnels-là avait été tenue, parlant justement de Kleda.
Madame, the government promised to put money into this, and they did not give. I mean, if you are not informed, I'm informing you that they did not give one dime. I'm talking. Archbishop Samuel Clara is hearing. Let him come and tell me that what I'm saying, I'm not saying the truth.
Okay.
They did not give one dime.
So what is your last say?
Yeah, my last say is that the Cameroonians, especially the Cameroonian youths, they should be very vigilant. They should be very vigilant, and as I said, they should come on board. Everybody should be alert, and they should enter into. They should come in, so that us, as a big team together, will change this country and remove all these people that have been plaguing this country now for decades upon decades.
Okay, thank you very much. Thanks to you for coming over, and we hope to have you some other time.
Thank you very much, Madam. The pleasure is mine.
Okay. Ladies and gentlemen, it's on this note that we draw the curtains of today's edition. Thanks for being with us, or thanks for having been with us. We take the rendezvous for next week, Monday. Ciao.